Hi, we're back again, and our first guest this morning, it thrills me very much because it's almost like having me here. She is a Carole with an E, and her last name is Firstman, and we're going to have a nice interview with Carole.
Nice to meet you.
Hi.
Hi.
So glad to kind of have you come in.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Good, and we were talking a little bit about the fact that we're both actresses.
Yes.
But I know today you came in because you're a writer.
Yes.
And you have something very interesting going on, and I want to hear about it.
Yes, yes. So I've been writing for a long time, about 15 years, but my first book was just released in August, so it's very exciting. So it's been out nationwide, and it's gotten great reviews in the New York Times and the Paris Review and BuzzFeed. So this is a real whirlwind for me. So
I tell you,
yeah. So I came to tell you about it today, and maybe even read a little excerpt to
that
your
will
viewers.
be fantastic. Oh, this is exciting. We have a real pro today, somebody that's out there getting their work done.
I'm trying.
Okay, tell me a little bit about yourself first.
Okay, about myself. So, well, I've been writing professionally for about 15 years.
Wow.
Up until this point, mostly essays and shorter works. And then I'm also an educator. So I have I have taught everything from elementary school through college. I currently teach at Fresno State University.
Wow.
So I finally graduated from third grade in college.
Fresno State, now what are you doing there?
So I'm in the English department, and so I teach writing, all levels from basic composition to some introductory literature classes to creative writing, which is my favorite. I love creative writing.
Oh, yeah, me too. Oh,
yeah.
me too. Well, tell me a little bit about how you got started writing on this particular book.
Okay. Well, this book, the title of it's got a weird title, and it's very long. It's called Origins of the Universe and What It All Means, a memoir. I had to add the last two words, a memoir, to distinguish myself from Stephen Hawking.
I see you stuck it in there.
It's there, a memoir right there. It's because I'm often mistaken for Stephen Hawking.
Oh,
no,
that's not bad.
But it's really it's a memoir about my relationship with my dad. So my dad was a biology professor. He studied and researched scorpions and spiders. And so he is still alive. He is brilliant, but also very eccentric. And so now I know that he has Asperger's. He's on the autism spectrum, but we didn't have a vocabulary for that until kind of recently.
Oh, boy.
So growing up, I always was wondering, why can I not connect with this person I'm supposed to connect to? He's my dad, right?
Yeah.
And so as I got older and got to know him on a different level, I started writing about not only our relationship, but also about his scientific research. Because I wanted to figure out what made my dad tick, so that I could also figure out what makes me tick. That's the essayist in me, exploring something else to figure out something about myself. That's
great.
how I got started.
Good start. So tell me how did you get started on the is it all of the notes you took before?
Oh no, it's actually so the book is actually it's part travel writing, it's all memoir, and it's got a little bit of science writing in there as well. So my dad and I, when I was young, when my mom and dad were first married, we would go on a lot of trips to real remote places. We would go to the deserts in Mexico and Death Valley and the mountains of California, so that he could collect specimens for his research. So I remember we would be driving around through the remote desert with nothing else around, and he would pull over the car, and he would crawl around in the gravel and turn over a rock, and something would scuttle out, and he'd whip out his jar and catch it in a jar, right?
Oh my gosh.
And that would be one of his specimens for his research. So as a kid, we went to all kinds of places, and we traveled a lot. And then we were estranged for a number of years when I was a young adult. And then finally, you know, like in my mid-20s, we decided, hey, you know what, let's get back together, let's reconnect. And so we decided, after like really not having spoken to each other for about 10 years, we decided, hey, let's go on another road trip. Let's relive the days, and let's take a 2-week road trip down to Baja, Mexico in the desert, which sounded like a really, really good idea at the time. But anyway, all good literature hinges upon conflict, so that became the seed for this book. Oh. And so we had quite an adventure. We both survived. We did reconnect, but so this book is really about my early childhood travels with him and now my more recent travels with him as an adult. So it's really a travel narrative that's really about science and family dynamics sort of all mixed together. It's sort of a weird combination.
I think it's a fantastic combination. To me, it's got to be interesting because there's so much going on in there, and so much relationships. Relationships are so important to all of us.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. You know, my dad, because he has that scientific mind, he's all about the data and the research and the scientific process. And for me, I'm all about the relationship, how are we connecting, not so much the scientific process. And so there lies the big gap between my dad and myself. And through exploring each of us, the book really is showing how those two things really are interdependent. There's the relationship, yet there's the outside knowledge, the things that we don't know, and how do we figure that out. And really I found out I'm really a lot like my dad. More than either one of us would probably care to admit. My dad and I are really alike in a lot of ways, even though we're true opposites in other ways.
But isn't that why we have conflict with them? Because they're alike than for not being alike.
Yeah. I think you're right. Yeah.
Well, I know you were telling me before that you were also an actress, and see, actresses see life differently than the rest of the world. I got to tell you, they really do. The relationships is so important to us, and I think that's what helped me writing my book, being an actress, to help my characters, because I had studied characters for so long that I just knew who these people were and how they would react. Yeah. So I think it's a really advantage to be an actress.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. And I think for me, being an actress, because I like to play character parts, that are really unlike myself. I'm not the ingenue.
I always played old ladies. Even when I was 18, I was playing old ladies.
Well, you have to get, whether you're playing an old lady or, like I played a man one time, no matter who you're playing, you have to understand your character, which really takes some introspection too, and understanding yourself, I think, to understand that character that you're playing.
Definitely.
And have empathy with other people and what their situations are like. So yeah, I think writing and acting is all very connected.
I think all of the arts are, and that's why I'm very comfortable in this job, because I've really done it all the different arts. So if somebody comes in and talks about one thing or another, I can have something I can say about it, you know.
Yeah.
So it's been a really fun thing. So anyway, how do we get this beautiful book?
Oh, well, you can get it anywhere books are sold. It's actually in bookstores nationwide.
Wow.
But the easy thing to do, you can just go to Amazon. So it's on Amazon, and it's available both in the hardcover version and as a Kindle version.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
I really think that would be, and it's there, but there's my name on a book. Isn't that beautiful?
As a writer, that is like the best feeling ever. It's like when it came out, my name is on that cover. I'm like, oh, it all paid off. All those hard years of work.
That's for absolute sure. Well, anyway, it's the origins of the universe and what it all means.
What it all means.
And I know you're going to love this book, because this is a pro book that's around the nation. So take the opportunity to call up this book on your internet or go to Barnes and Noble.
Barnes and Noble, everywhere, Target, everywhere, or just go to my website.
Target.
Yeah, Target. Yes. I'm like, I'm mainstream now. I am in Target. I love it. Yeah.
And what is your website?
So my website is carolefirstman.com.
Hey, that's a real hard
Very easy, carolefirstman.com. It's Carole with an E. Carole with an E. We have to stick together.
We have to stick together.
Yeah.
Because it's a fight, believe me. Through your whole life, you got to fight for that E.
Yes.
Okay, honey, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you so much.
Please come in again.
I will. Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Other things are happening, or whatever. If it gets some great thing that happens to the book, come in.
I will. I will. Yes.
Okay.
Thanh you so much.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you. Okay.
Have a nice day.
You too. Bye bye.
Okay, we'll be right back. Hi, we're back again, and I wanted to call Carole back because she has an excerpt. Well, there's a word there, I know, it's excerpt from her book, and I hope she can read better than I did, and she's going to read from her book for us. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you. Or we could just call it a section. That's easier to say.
Yes, section.
A section. Okay, so this is very short. It's just an early childhood memory about one of those travels with my parents.
Good.
So this takes place in the Mojave Desert, California, of July 1969.
Wow.
So we're going way back. Watch us. We barreled across the desert toward Death Valley, gray waves of heat seething from the highway. The top of the Carmanguia was off, and my mother's brown hair flew wildly around her sweating face. It was nearly noon. The sun blazed directly overhead. It must have been 105 degrees by then. The engine ran hot, and if we didn't get there soon, we'd overheat, stranded on the road. Me, in the back seat, sitting squarely in the middle, my legs folded, sticky against white vinyl. I was 5 years old. My sweater was wrapped around my forehead like a turban, tight. The empty arms streamed behind in the wind, flapping between my shoulder blades. I bounced with the road beneath us, beneath the tires that smelled like tar in that heat. Up ahead, the asphalt ribboned up and down like a gentle roller coaster. I held my breath every few seconds, just for an instant each time. It helped me hold on to the falling feeling in my stomach, falling with each decline. Yes, now again, faster, I yelled. Or maybe I just thought it, faster. That summer, my mother was 24, a grad student studying plant pathology. My father was 41, a professor at Cal Poly Pomona. His mission to collect spiders, specimens for his class on the evolution of arachnids, meant a working getaway weekend for him, for us. Underneath the passenger seat, a shoebox rattled with empty jars and half-filled bottles of formaldehyde. Several times that day and throughout the weekend, my father pulled over when he got the whim. He'd traipse through the gravel on his hands and knees. My mother carried the box of jars while he peered between rocks. He captured scorpions, tarantulas, and desert weevil beetles with an overturned glass jar and 3x5 index cards covered with obsolete to-do lists or random notes to self. With one swift move, he would flip the jar and the card, drop the live spider into another jar filled with formaldehyde, then screw on a lid to seal it tight. Death was instant. Then back to the car. Behind the wheel, my father stepped on the accelerator. He turned the radio dial. The mamas and the papas, California dreamin', blared from the dashboard, the words swept up by scarves of heat and spewed over the cactus-spotted sand. So there you have it. The book is part memoir, part science writing, and part travel writing.
It's great. I'm
Thank you.
telling you, you're going to want to get this book. So if you forget, you didn't write it down or something, get in touch with Central Valley Talk, and we'll get the book to you
Alrighty.
somehow.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, honey, for coming in so much.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. We'll be right back.